Alright, so this is my third attempt at this video. Sometimes PlayStation can be a little bit wonky. This is a continuation of my Magplar build. Here we're going to go over champion points and some skills, just so that way we have a quick rundown of everything that we're doing. So, in the last video we talked about the flame staff and the lightning staff. So we're going to be calling our main bars flame bar and lightning bar. There's a reason for this, because some people run their setups differently. With this, we're also going to be talking about champion points and potions. As a quick reminder, when it comes to foods, this is only for DPS parse testing, which is what I'm doing right now. And actual combat, dungeons, trials, any PvE, this is a PvE character, this is not PvP. You are going to be running Witch Mother's Potent Brew, because you're going to get that magic recovery. You're going to see as we go through this a lot of stuff about magic recovery. For potions, I'm choosing to run Essence of Spell Power. You don't have to run Essence of Spell Power. Essence of Spell Power will give you a little bit more DPS, but if you don't want to run it, that's fine. That's not a big deal. You can run basic magic potions that you pull up off dungeon bosses, or you can run these Tri-Crown Resto potions. Now, for the skills. Actually, before we go into the skills, let's have a look at champion points. In champion points, this is a must. You have to have this because a lot of this build is based off crit. Crit, 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 crit. Did I mention crit? After that, this one, Finding Finesse, Backstabber, Biting Aura, and Master at Arms are your main champion slottable points. You can't. Now there are some people who prefer on Templars to not run Master at Arms, but instead to run Wrathful Strikes. I've done DPS tests with both. I've got mixed results. So slot whichever one you prefer. I prefer Master at Arms, but if you end up preferring Wrathful Strikes, that's perfectly fine. Here we have Extended Might. You only have to get this to stage 1. No higher than that. Here, again, get this as many stages as you can, and then get this as much as you can. If you can only get one stage here, one stage here, and one stage here, that's fine. If you can't even get that far and can only get this stage, the first stage here, so that way you can unlock this stuff, that's okay too. And remember, it's okay to only have 1 or 2 stages of stuff. You don't have to have a million CP and have all this unlocked. If you only get 6% crit damage done while flanking, or otherwise known as standing behind the enemy, and you only have the first 2 stages here for 4%, well, guess what? You're now getting between these two, you're getting 10% more crit damage. And since this is a crit build, that's useful. Over here, let's say you only are getting 4% because you only get the first 2 stages. That's fine. Again, 4% extra damage is better than nothing. Same thing here. 4% extra damage done with direct damage, better than nothing. Let's look at Wrathful Strikes if you choose to run that. 66 extra up in the spell damage to damaging abilities, better than nothing. And since this is a DPS build, almost everything you're doing is a damage ability. Alright. But I will say, this you want to max it out because it's crit, and then and then 1, 2, 3, 4 are your priorities. 5, 6. The reason I'm not counting this as a priority is that you have to have the first stage of this, so you have to have the first 10 champion points in it to unlock both of these. But before you go trying to unlock the rest of this, get this one and this one first. And then you have Max Stam and Ultric Insight for Max Magic. You want to get Max Magic before Max Stam. Red Tree. This part here is personal preference. I run this because I prefer to res people quickly, but you don't have to. You can run this for sustain if you're having some sustain issues. When you max this all the way out, it's going to give you 1500 magic restore, which is really nice when you're in dungeons and trials and things of that nature, because You're just not going to run out of resources as much. Now, up here we have rejuvenation. Again, we're doing this because we want that magic recovery. Magplars tend to be a bit squishy sometimes. That's why we run Ironclad, because we have 1700 extra armor added on. We're also going to run Boundless Vitality to give us some extra health, because on Magplars that extra health is going to be really nice too. Down here we have Hero's Vigor. Again, we are doing this because we want that max health. As for the rest of it, mix it up, make it yours. Green Tree, Lord only knows what I'm doing this thing. Have fun with it is all I'm gonna say. Uh, I keep this up here because I like to be fast and not be trailing behind everybody. But that's personal choice. You do what you want to with it. I know a couple people who like to go all the way up here and have the double percent yield chances on every character they have. But that's all you. Choose what you do with it. Remember, make it yours. Alright, so now we're going to go into skills. On your flame bar, you're going to have the Destro ulti. Don't run the Destro ulti unless you're in a trash mob or you're in a dungeon and you need to burn stuff quickly and things are getting a little chaotic and you need to bring it back under control. You're also going to be running Wall of Elements. This is probably one of the best magic AoEs in the game. It comes from the Destro staff line. Blazing Spear, not Luminous Shards. You'll see a lot of Templars running Luminous Shards. That's for resource restore. Blazing Spear is for DPS, and it gives you a lot of extra damage. Then we're going to run Purifying Light because we're going to be trying to cram damage in, and we're going to be copying damage up to 22,000. Well, remember that 22,000 is going to crit because our crit rating is on this bar, which we spend most of our time on our lightning bar. Our crit rating 67.2%. So when that maximum damage copied hit procs, after procs means it goes off after 6 seconds, you're going to have at least 40,000 damage done just from that. We are also running Radiant Aura because we are getting minor in fortitude, minor endurance, minor intellect, which increases health, stam, and magic recovery by 15%. Again, we're looking to keep that stam recovery up. Or not stam, we're looking to keep that magic recovery up. This is also big too. Inner Light, you're going to want to run Inner Light on both bars. I'll show you that in a minute. Because you're getting a max magicka increase of 5%, which is really nice. But you're also getting Major Prophecy, which is increasing your spell critical by 2,629. Now, the game is not really honest about telling you this, but for every 216 critical rating, weapon or spell equals 1% crit. So, this 2,629 crit rating is actually giving us a little bit over 10%. And then we're going to bar swap. Okay, your ulti here on your lightning bar is Crescent Sweep. The reason that it's Crescent Sweep is because this is what's known as a spammable ulti. It's only going to cost you 73 ultimate to run, and it does really good damage, particularly with anybody who's in front of you. Remember, 67% crit. That crit really does help. Solar Barrage. This is really important because it's another AoE, but it's also giving you Empower. When you're light attack weaving, and I'll show you a little bit about that in a second, head over to Zero's page for more on that. But when you start light attack weaving, what that's going to do is this is going to increase those damage of those light attacks significantly. And when you have to do a heavy attack to restore resources, that's going to help a lot too. This Puncturing Sweep, some people call them the Templar Stabs, some people call them Stabby Stabs. I'll just be blunt. They heal you, and they're really nice to proc, and it is by far, in my opinion, and I've worked with several classes, this is the best spammable attack out of everything. Spammable attack means that you are using this as more often than you are laying down any other ability. Radiant Aura, The reason we have this on both bars is that if you don't have it on both bars, when you bar swap, it disappears. So we're keeping that on here as well to increase our magic recovery again. This is the Templar Execute. It will deal. This is actually going to be getting a buff next patch to where it just does 500% more damage to enemies below 50% health as they go down in health. Don't do what some people do and proc this at 50%. Yes, there are Templar builds for that. I don't recommend doing it because you're going to lose DPS. Don't proc this until the enemy is below 25%. And then after they're below 25%, you're not hitting stabs at all. You are going to swap stabs for this ability. And then what you are going to do is when they're at 5% health, you are only going to use Radiant Oppression. That's it. Inner Light, same thing as the previous bar. We have this on here because we want crit damage, crit damage, crit damage. And the only way to get crit damage is you have to be able to crit. So we want more crit, more crit, more crit, more crit. Now, so here's another thing. Let's say that you're in a dungeon and it's a little squishy and you're having some issues with staying alive. Swap this for Honor the Dead. This is really useful because the Templars are great healers anyways. This, I use the Honor the Dead morph because it's less of a healer morph and more of a self-heal. If a healer goes down in a pinch and you have to heal someone while somebody's resing someone else, you can do it, but remember this is a DPS character, not a healer. But if you feel like you need a heal because for some reason you're not getting enough heals or you're being extra squishy or maybe you're just happening to stand in AoEs a little bit more than you would like or your healer would like, go ahead and throw this on as well. And just proc that. Another thing that you can do if you feel like you're being squishy is you can lose your Radiant Aura on your back bar. The reason you can lose your Radiant Aura is that you can take the Light Armor damage shield here. You want to use Light Armor, not another type, because this one scales off your max magic, not your max health. I don't see it actually saying that anywhere, but that's what's important, is that this is scaling off your max magic, not max health, so you're going to get a larger damage shield because of that. Now, with all this being said, you have to have 5 pieces of light armor equipped, which is again why we are wearing 5 pieces of light Julianos. Remember, Julianos you can have crafted for you, and Mother Sorrow you can buy in guild stores. If you want to, you can swap around. You can have the body being Mother Sorrow and the jewelry being Julianos, since Julianos is craftable and it's often easier to get your hands on a craftable set. The only reason I don't here is because I did not feel like going and buying Mother Sorrow and crafting more Julianos stuff. With the monster set, remember I'm running Zons, but Lambrus works too. Just make sure that it's divine and you're good to go. So with all that being said, we're going to get started looking at the rotation. So your rotation, generally speaking, is going to be Light Attack, Ball of Elements. Light Attack, Blazing Spear. Light Attack, Purifying Light. Bar Swap, Light Attack, Soul Barrage, Stab. Light Attack, Stab. Light Attack, Stab. Light Attack. Now, here's the thing about that. Yes, I know I had an ulti available that I did not use. I'm going to slow this down so you can see what I'm doing with the light attacks. Light attack. I screwed that up. Light attack. That. Light attack. There. Light attack. Bar swap. Light attack here. Light attack here. Light attack. Light attack. Light attack. The thing about this build, and one of the reasons that I love it, is that as you speed that up, if you screw up a light attack, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. On this build, you can screw up light attacks. If you miss a light attack, just keep going with the rotation. It'll be perfectly fine. Eventually you'll get it down to where you get the timing on all of those perfect, because what you're trying to do, and I can do it best with stabs, I can't do it great with every other ability, is you're trying to light attack and cancel that light attack animation. So if you see, all you see is the lightning ball flying as I'm stabbing this poor target dummy to death. And, you know, sometimes you'll end up where if you get a buffer like that, that's fine too. Remember, we're on PlayStation, not PC. This is not a PTS server. So, feel free. It's okay to make mistakes. Don't get discouraged. Now, with this build, there's only one pre-buff you use. Your pre-buff is your potion. Whatever your potion is. Even if it's a regular magic potion, you're still going to pre-buff using that magic potion, because it's going to give you more magic recovery. So, and I will show you about every 3 rotations on this guy, you're going to do a heavy attack, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. Here we go. Potion, light attack, wall of elements. Light attack, blazing spear, light attack, purifying light. And let's stab some stuff. And our ulti's ready. Let's go ahead and pop that. And if you notice, I'm getting a little bit of lag right now. That's okay. Ulti's back up. Rock that. Alright, we're running a little bit low on magic, so at the end of this rotation, we are going to... And I screwed that up, but that's okay. Alright, we've run 2 stabs. Let's get some more. And this is their whole rotation right here. Alright. Run out of that. Let's throw in a heavy attack real quick. Let's get some of that back. And if you notice, even I'm screwing up the rotation. So if you screw up the rotation, don't stress about it. I'm also screwing up the rotation a little bit with the flag right now, but we're not going to talk about that. Ulti's up again. Notice how often that ulti is proccing because we are using those light attacks. Yep, running a little bit low on Magica. Let's go ahead and throw in a heavy attack, pop our potion. Alright, now some people here are going to want to go ahead and use the Radiant Oppression Templar Execute. Do not do that. Wait till you hit 25%. You'll get more DPS that way. Now, if you're wondering why we're trying to keep our magic a little bit higher than we normally would, it's because that Templar execute does a lot more damage. Alright, here we go. When you're when you have max magic. You'll read some guides, by the way, guys, that will tell you drop everything at 10%. And I'm gonna do. Now's when you drop it. You've hit 5%. Drop everything. Just run this. Try to throw in light attacks where you can. $55,968. And for the record, that was with a very bad rotation. So you can see that if you screw up the rotation, it's okay. Don't be afraid of that. I'm going to do a quick reload UI, and we're going to do one more DPS test just to see if we can get a little bit better result. But remember, guys, it's okay. Because even if you screw up the rotation, because of the way this build is designed, if you don't hit every light attack or you don't bar swap perfectly, that's perfectly okay. And I want to point out, this is not a PTS server, this is on the PlayStation. So this is the real build. Alright, here we go. Ulti's ready, let's proc that, and let's stab. Bar swap, light attack. Running a little bit low. Let's go and throw in a heavy attack right here. Pop a potion. And look at that. We're back at full magic. And stab some more. Throwing a light attack right here. Let's get some resources back. Potions up. Let's proc that. Onto this one, we're going to do another light attack. We're about half magic. Alright, let's get our heavy attack in. There we go. We'll do that again. Go ahead and get our heavy attack in. We're running a little bit low on magic. We have this up. Alright, remember, we don't run our execute here. After this, we're going to do another heavy attack. Potions up, let's proc that. We get a little bit lower than I would like, so we're going to run a heavy attack there. Ulti. After the end of this rotation. Alright, we're at 20%. See, even I missed that. This, we're going to throw in another heavy attack. Pop a potion. And just because of where we're at, we're just going to go ahead and drop everything else and burn it down like this. And on that one, guys, we ended up with, here you go, 58,900. So this is a pretty good build, and you'll probably get better at it than I am. So I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, just drop it in the comments, or ask me, hit me up in one way or another, and I'll be happy to answer them. Hope you all have a great day.